the really important thing is, and it's hard to appreciate it as much when you haven't, it's hard to appreciate the things you've avoided and haven't actually come up against yet. But, you know, you've got to take stock of the fact that, like, I don't know if you've been following the posts in the group about acquisitions and everything else like I'm talking about. There are PTs now in droves across the UK walking away from their units. They can't even sell it because it's not a business. And this is the difference. What you've done is you've secured your business for the next 20, 30 years now. And the next 9 PTs in that position, they're going to be, they're your competition today. They're going to be your assets next year. Yeah. And we'll figure out, we'll kind of see where you are on things right now. But same thing for you, I think, now that you've done a turnaround of your own business, which is the best experience ever, because the same problems you have is what the next 10 six-figure gyms are having. And it looks like all good 6 figures from the outside on social media, but you know what a steaming pile of dog shit it really is behind the scenes, right? And it's the difference between them investing, you know, 300-400 quid a month to learn how to do it, but they're not going to. And this is where my tune is completely changing this year, where most of the guys that come for help, I just say, you know what? You're not cut out to be an entrepreneur. You shouldn't have this business. You've proven you can do a turnaround, and guys like you now, you deserve this business, and you'll end up now acquiring and taking over those guys and girls in those situations. Wow. But you're giving them a lifeline. And this is, you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't for you. You've tried to make it work for 3, 4, 5 years. You're in over your head. You've got debts piling up. You're stressed to shit. Your relationships are on the rocks. Your health is going down. There's a huge turnaround, but are you really willing to go and learn what it takes and then do what it takes? And if they're not willing to get stuck in, then you can get stuck in, turn it around and take over that place. And they can just get paid as a salary to work for you now. Because you can't pay them anything for the business. It's worth, I mean, maybe they got a bit of equipment or maybe 4 to 5K of assets tops. But what you can say is, I'll give you 4K, you know, for the assets, and maybe help you pay off a bit of debt as a goodwill gesture. And I'll give you another, you know, 6K, but that's given as a salary over the next 6 months to keep being the trainer and the manager, which you're good at. But there's no one running this place. There's no entrepreneur, and that's what you will do as the owner, and you can take over that place. They get a job. They probably earn more solid money doing that in less hours than they were making on their own, without all the bigger responsibilities over their head. Your name goes on the door. Your systems and your brochures go in as the retraining, and you know, and this is what we've been doing. This is what a couple of my other one-to-one clients have been doing. And in 30 to 60 days, you take them from 20K at no profit to, you know, making 25K with 6K a month profit. Yeah. And which, you know, just comes down to culture, numbers, and structure and systems. And you start paying them out of the profits you've now created with no money down. You can flip it in 30 days because you know what to do. They don't, and it's like, you know, you have a banger of a car that's worth nothing unless it's to the person that knows how to sell that car for parts or how to refurbish it.
Why now, Justin? What's going on in the industry? Are people, is that recession finally here, or?
There is a macro recession coming on the books, but I don't think it's more because of that. It's actually because of a micro recession, which comes from I mean, I've got a lot of videos out on this, where the last 10 years pretty much were the easiest time ever to open your own business. No competition with bootcamps, what we do, Facebook ads, ClickFunnels, no £5,000 for a website, leads for 20 pence a piece, no one else doing what we're doing. And the last 10 years, the last 7-10 years, all you had to do to build a 6-figure business was be and you'll know, with no disrespect, like a personal trainer who knows some marketing skills. Now, everyone's that advantage is gone now, because now everyone's got a transformation center or is doing a program. Facebook ads aren't as cheap as they once were. Everyone's getting their accounts disabled. Everyone finally, after 5-6 years, adopts onto the same advantages that we took at the very beginning. It's and it's just timing. It's like if you went to Dubai and offered them $5,000 for a piece of desert land 35 years ago, they'd laugh and take your money, but today you'd be worth $10 million. You can't go to Dubai now, 30 years later, and say, can I get some cheap land? No, that ship has sailed. So it's just timing, and industry is always mature, because when an opportunity comes, everyone starts jumping in on it. And the early adopters, which is like guys like me and you, who got there and then crack the system and get our system locked in, some in the nick of time, right? What happens now is you're strong now, you've got your shit together, but everyone else around you now is just flailing. And so after saturation, the next thing that happens in industry is monopolization, because 1 out of 10 coaches make it and have a strong, robust system and profits, and the other guys don't. So they can either walk away and lock up their gyms, or they can just give it to you for severely undervalued price. And you now get to just buy and suck up all the competitors and absorb them into what you do, because you figured the system out and they didn't.
Wow, it's really, it's really interesting. So I often wondered, how do you grow? Because it was such hard work, getting permissions and all this stuff, and it's like such a, so it does make sense that you can get the gym there ready to go if you've got the profit and you've got the systems, Yeah,
it's like, look at it as if you've got your own mini franchise, basically. And again, it's also the fact that when the industry is new and easy, everyone thinks they're an entrepreneur. Now they're realizing, and a lot of guys, to be fair, are just, if they put their ego aside, they're like, you know what, I did not expect this, like, finances stuff, training people, having coaches, having tough conversations, and they're just like, you know what, this is not what I wanted, I just want to be a coach. Or I want to be self-employed, but they're realizing, I don't want to be a business owner. I thought I did, but I don't. And that is the best self-awareness someone can have, and there's no shame. And the other reason this is happening as well because of that is because 10 years ago, when guys like me and you started, we couldn't get a job as a trainer working in a place like yours. No one built it yet. I'd have to wipe sweat off treadmills in LA Fitness for £4 an hour. But now, guys like me and you've ridden the wave. You're the first one there, and you've built the model. You, I think, now have an opportunity to evolve the industry, and you have a responsibility now to offer those trainers a chance to get a great job and career fulfillment that was not even available to them 10 years ago. So this is where the industry is going to evolve now with what are small companies right now like ours, absorbing assets, giving those self-employed people new opportunities to have a great fulfilling job with real job prospects and growth, and we'll become big companies.
I also notice it's a lot mindset, isn't it? Because I notice there's been a huge shift in your mindset, as in like I don't know this is a guesswork, but it seems to me like you've shifted to sort of like, I'm going to absolutely, 7 locations in a year. That's like a huge shift, and it's like, for me, that kind of makes me, I'm like scared. But, is it been a shift in mindset or?
Well, yeah, I mean, like we've planned like 3 we had planned already of our own locations. The other 5 or 6 are going to be acquisitions.
Yeah.
Which are and that's again a couple of years ago it wouldn't have been really possible because we've saved up so much profit in the bank now. We've got 6 to 8 months worth of cash flow. That's our shopping money. And we can take over units for like 5k. We can buy 5 of them right now if we want to. We just need to get the management team in place to be like a regional team. So, and obviously do one takeover. So the mindset it's not so much a mindset shift. It's more, I see the opportunity right now and we have to press that advantage really hard. So we're getting our hustle back on because again, it's about timing. Because if we don't go and capture these gyms right now, they're either going to get bought out by someone bigger, or they're just going to leave the assets there, sell them on eBay, and lock up the unit and go home, and then it's just lost for everyone. So now is the time we have to go in, make these turnarounds. James is approaching. He's going around local gyms, like saying, "Have you ever thought about selling up or being acquired?" And they're like, "Well, I hadn't, because who would want to buy my piece of shit business? But what are you offering?" And he's like, "We're offering a good salary, doing what you love without all the stress. If your ego can come out of the way and let our name our name goes on the door, and the assets go into our name." And most people who've approached are actually really appreciative of the offer.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's good.
So where are you right now then, and how healthy is the business at this point?
Well, it's coming back to health. So, like, I know this is all, I know you're going to see through the glamour of sales, but we sold like 70, £500 packages in the last 2 months because of what you were doing, like building up over the November, December. I never had that. I was just the mindset, this is a great month to sell. And then, usually I'd be just sort of like, oh, let's just wait till second week of January. And we literally are packed. So, but financially, I need to build things up again. So, like I said, I was close to the edge, and now I've literally just the last month put in profit first now. So I would have thought, like in sort of 6 months' time, I'm going to be in a good place. I was just wondering, like, the KPIs. Do you have is there one of your videos that has a basic list of real must-have KPIs that you check every day? Because on your entrepreneur thing on my folder it says you check your KPIs every day.
Yeah. So that's our
so many that it just confused me. I was like, Christ, that's so much.
That's in and yeah, there are dozens of KPIs. You need to track the ones that are most relevant to you at the moment. So this comes down to module 3, right, where the only goals you're going to have really are your growth targets, your number of leads coming in, number of sales, to get the number of front-end sales you need, to get the number of back-end sales you need, and then the retention rate you need to keep. So there's so that's like growth, that's like your core KPIs, like leads coming in, and you can divide those by organic and paid or whatever. Front-end sales, back-end sales, per month or per period or whatever you want to do, your retention rate, and then your average client lifetime value. And then of course with all those you also have the other KPIs then of what's your cost per lead, what's your cost per sale, what is your looking at what is your cost per sale versus your lifetime value. That's a big one. How profitable is each client you're acquiring? And then you've got your funnel stats along with that. So, okay, what's your landing page conversion? What's your application page conversion? What's your pickup phone rate? What's your, so you've got tons of KPIs there around. The more you can,
different sections.
And it's like anything. It's like fitness, right? Like, you don't have to track everything, but the more data you do, the more advanced you're going to be. If I just want to lose some weight,
checking this monthly or weekly or
well, different stats are different, right? I mean, some won't make sense to track daily. Like you can't track your cost per lead daily, really, because you need to do it over an average of a week or so. But you can track. Like the gross numbers will track every day, like how many leads came in today, how many sales were made today. But then at the end of the week, we can look back at the totals and then see over the week what was the average cost per lead, what was the average cost per sale, what was the average sales conversion rate on the phone. So you can do it daily if you want to, but you just use common sense with that. Like some are just fucking pointless tracking daily. So that's the growth targets, and is your funnel working, and retention, and then the other kind of KPIs we have is that's your cash flow percentages, your profit first percentages. So it's all well and good having that, but are you meeting the cash flow targets, which is, you know, what was the revenue, but did we keep our OPEX at from 32% down to 30% was the goal this month.
Yeah.
And you should have that in your profit first plan. So let's say your OPEX is right now it's 44% of the real revenue, which is too high. And your goal is to get it down 2% over the next 3 months to get it down to 38%. And you're going to track that end of the month. And that's like a monthly thing you generally track. So at the end of the month, I'll look at it. Weekly, we're tracking our growth, our momentum. You know, let's get more sales. You got to close this. Let's get more leads. Let's do, you know. But then at the end of the month, we look at the growth we made and compare it against, did we also lower our expenses? Did we also widen our profits? Did we meet the targets of putting 5% for profit and 15% for income tax? And if you're just managing those two things, that's really the gist of it.
Better in control, yeah. Yeah, mate, that's brilliant.
That's all your module. That's all your module 3 stuff, right? So you got the cash flow management numbers. You got your 12-month growth forecast. That's the lead sales.
Okay.
Lead tracking is done in module 5. We give you our lead tracker to track up your leads and sales every day, and then the client fulfillment systems. That's where you'll start working on your client retention. You can have KPIs for number of referrals you want to make, number of bottles of water you want to sell.
Yeah.
But the main ones are going to be leads, the growth projections, the leads and sales you need to make, and then the cash flow. Are you making those sales without going over budget?
Love that. Yeah, cool. Right. Down, so I'm going to get working on that. That's the next
the sub KPIs, like the cost per lead, the landing page conversion. That's what you have to track to know how to fix it if it's not working.
Okay, sounds good.
And it's great knowing your cost per lead is £4, but what does that mean? It's like saying Dave can bench press 100 kilos. It's out of context. What does that mean? But if we know, but our landing page conversion is only 2%, that means, well, we could get that to 20%, and then we'd have a much lower cost per lead.
Yeah. There was a bit, I love your comparisons, there was a bit that really, really helped on your course. Because, you know, I told you this, I did your course every day for like 6 months, like minimum half hour. I had so many notes, man, and I had to stop. I was like, this is too much. I need to stop and do this and then come back. And even now, some of your videos come out, I'm not going to watch it because I've got too much to actually do from like module 3 and module 4. And there was a bit in it, I was finding it so hard. I was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I was having the right complaint in my head, and you were like, and you made the comparison to someone who wants to be an elite athlete, and it was just such the right thing at the right time. It's like, yeah, you want to, do some squats. Anyone can do that. It's like, but you want to be an elite athlete? Yes, it's hard. You have to do this. And
that's the really fucking point. Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. You were like, it's not going to be easy. You want to have life in dreams and sort of like, and have time off and just like have the business run itself. Yes, it's hard. Like, get on with it. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? And I was just like listening like that. And it really set me off, man. And I realised, this isn't going to be an easy ride. You have to earn it.
Yeah.
So.
You think Olympic athletes get in shape and enter and win the Olympics in fucking 2 years?
That's exactly it.
No.
Yeah.
So, is that it? Anything else I can help you with the next few minutes?
Or just want to say also, mate, what you're doing is unbelievable. I'm just like, I'm blown away. I had a business coach. I work with Travis Jones. I work with like coaches and nothing is either. I wouldn't say anyone had 10% on what you're doing. It's like having a business coach who's into fitness, who's also into mindset, who also really gives a shit and puts out content all the time that genuinely helps. It's like, it's I think it's amazing, mate. Really, really amazing.
I really appreciate that. That's so awesome. And well done on doing the work and turning it around. And we always say your success is down to the number of uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. And you had those conversations with yourself, with your team, with your accountant or whatever, and you're on the other side, and that's the proof,
I'm going to put that on my wall, mate, because that's what I learned from the tough times, is that to have those conversations early.
But until you get to a point, though, the next level for you is getting to a point where I am now, which is like, I'm halfway through the day, and I'm like, I've not had a tough conversation with anyone.
one.
Well, yeah, I'm like, because I know logically now, well, I'm not pushing things. I better go and kick someone's ass or go and ask for something uncomfortable. So I'll just go and like find another business person, like, can I be on your podcast? And they're like, yeah. Or I'll go and tell our coaches, why aren't we doing better in this? Or I'll find someone to have an uncomfortable conversation with, because that's how things move forward, you know?
Wow,
and I realise I'm not doing it sometimes.
I'm actually going to really think about that, because you're right. I'll have it when it has to happen, but I don't think I'm looking for them and sort of like, and having the ones that really could happen, you know, push my business forward. You're right. You know?
Arnold Schwarzenegger or any bodybuilder in their heyday, do you think they'd notice if they're doing a set of 20 and don't feel a burn?
Yeah.
What would they do?
Yeah.
Like, oh, lucky I got away with that, or like, no, give me a bigger weight. I'm gonna chase the burn because I'm not growing otherwise. It's just a logical thing to them. If I'm not burning, I'm not growing.
Wow, what a great thing to think about, man. You've left me with a really good point in there. I'm going to be out there now, like, looking for this. Thank you so much, Justin.
No worries. Are you going to come over to Cyprus?